everybody. Welcome back into Fourth and a Mile, presented by Planet Adam. I am your host, the Pharaoh of Planet Adam, or God King, if you will. I am Adam Fernandez, and it's great to see all of you guys here. And by all of you, I mean one. I'm not sure who that one is yet. Whoa! Welcome back in. Let me turn that off there. There we go. I'm just trying to get used to all this again. When I did it before, it was just it was my brother running everything. Now it's just me. So we're gonna try to get this going. But again, everybody, welcome into Fourth and a Mile, presented by Planet Adam. I am Adam Fernandez, and man, my hair is still looking pretty good, even though it's like late in the night. I hope all of you guys out there had a great Monday. I hope you guys had a great weekend before Monday. Let me straighten this out a little bit because I feel like I'm looking at you guys at an angle there. And I'm just right now seeing my hair being plucked around there. All right, so I am seeing messages here. Well, right now I just see that Jennifer is watching. Jennifer and I go way back to our days at SeaWorld. There's a lot to talk about in the world of college football. We're going to go in through all of it. This was a crazy week. We had everything from upsets abound to near upsets happening to coaches being fired to cats trying to commit suicide to ladies having babies, which, by the way, I've got a great name for that baby. We'll get to that here in a little bit. We have, if you're in the legal world, you know what I'm talking about when I say Letty no longer works for Upton, Mickelson, Heyman. This is just a mad time. That's why we're going live. I haven't done it in a while. I figured now is as good a time as any because the world is about to come to an end. We have a damn tropical storm coming in here, guys, ready to just wipe us out. So we're doing the live stream just because of that. But first, let me tell you guys, if you're watching live, the song you just heard was Forever from my friend Joe Perez's band Last Time. You'll be hearing them throughout the show. If you're listening on the audio, which I have that right here too, guys, then what you will be hearing is Charlie George and the Psychoholics, their song Mardi Gras. We're going to alternate the next time I decide to go ahead and do a live stream, which might just be this Thursday if this one turns out to be pretty good. I got Anthony Harris messaging me. I love Anthony Harris, but now's not the time to message me, Anthony, unless you're messaging me about the show. I want to hear what y'all's thoughts on this crazy week 2 of college football was. We're going to get into a lot of it. I have extra video to show you guys. It's going to be fun. But first, again, still, if you guys have a friend or if you have a band yourself that wants to get their music out there to a worldwide audience, then go ahead and tell them to go ahead and email me fourth and a mile 360 at gmail.com. Send me a song. I'll edit it up so I can make sure A, that it's family friendly, and B, that it goes right in with the show as far as timing and all that. But yeah, it'll get put on the air. And hey, I got listeners in Indonesia and Ireland. I mean, one listener in Indonesia, one in Ireland, but hey, they're there. So, yes, definitely. Oh, hey, Alyssa's waving to me. Hi, baby. How you doing? So let's get into this, guys. What a crazy week 2. I'm not even sure where I want to start. I didn't even do a script or anything like that. I spent the last 2, pretty much since I've been home from work, trying to get this set up. So, but let's see. We got still 2 on. Let's get some more people in here, guys. I want to talk because this was a crazy, crazy, crazy damn week. We're going to start with, there's Gina. I haven't seen Gina in forever. I used to work with Gina over at Foundation. How's it going, Gina? We're going to start with the first game of the week that was the shocker. Now, I told you guys on Thursday that I picked Oregon to beat Ohio State because I didn't think Ohio State was that good. They struggled against Minnesota. Oregon, I think, is a better team than Minnesota. I did not expect Ohio State to win this game. Fast forward till 5 minutes before the game, Oregon announced that their two top defensive players, Kayvon Thibodeau and, oh, Jesus, now I'm drawing a blank on his name. You guys are going to think I'm full of shit now. But Kayvon Thibodeau and their other guy would both be out for this game, would not make it in there. And that led me to believe that, well, hell, then at this point, this is C.J. Stroud's best opportunity to actually prove himself. I think Ohio State's going to win this game now because Oregon is without their two best defensive players. And as my friend Tom Musso would tell me later in that Facebook post, this would not age well. Oregon completely owned Ohio State this week. The score was a lot closer than what the game actually was. Oregon did whatever they want, whenever they wanted. It was not even close. It was just a complete blowout. Again, the score wasn't, but the game itself actually was. I'm pulling up the score right now so I can share with you because I don't remember it off the top of my head. The score was 45, or no, that was 2 weeks ago, 35-28. So it seemed like a close game. Simply because at the end, Oregon took their foot off of, hey, Gina, oh yeah, I already said hi to you. Took their foot off of the necks of Ohio State, allowed them to get back in it. C.J. Stroud throughout the entire game looked like a freshman. He is a freshman, but he looked like a freshman. That's not something Ohio State does. Justin Fields, when he first started his first game with Ohio State, he looked good. I watched that game live. It was against Florida Atlantic. I watched it live. Justin Fields tore Florida Atlantic up. C.J. Stroud struggled to get the ball within 10 yards of his receivers. The announcers during the game said, well, we were told by the coaching staff that if C.J. misses, he tends to miss high. He missed high quite a bit. Oregon completely dominated this game. They only won it by 7, but they completely dominated. It was the fourth quarter. Interception within the last 2 minutes sealed the deal. Ohio State is not the Ohio State that we've come to expect. They're still going to find themselves in the playoff hunt towards the end. That's just because, well, you know, the Big Ten has to have somebody there, and Ohio State just happens to be that somebody every single solitary year. This year, though, I honestly believe Iowa is the better team, but we'll get into Iowa here in just a little bit. Ohio State really needs to work some things out. There's been some talk about some of the coaching staff possibly being let go because of this loss alone, because C.J. Stroud was not ready on the big show. He was not ready for the big game. He looked horrible. Ohio State looked horrible. So that was the first shock. That should have set off an alarm like, hey, Adam, there's going to be a lot of crazy things happening today. I wasn't thinking about that at all at that time. I just thought, wow, what an upset. I look bad because I said just a couple hours ago that I changed my mind. Ohio State's going to win this. So that made me look bad, but that didn't set off any alarms quite yet. Let's get into the second game of the day. Right after Ohio State and Oregon get finished, Texas A&M and Colorado come on. This was a great game through and through. Poorly played, but a great game, a fascinating game. If you sat down and watched it, you were expecting one of these teams to just commit a completely horrible mistake and just end up ruining their chances to win this game. That huge mistake never really happened for either team. First quarter, Texas A&M's quarterback, Haynes King, goes down. He's a freshman, goes down after he took a pretty tough hit. Wasn't a dirty hit. I'm not going to sit here and say it was a dirty hit. It was a clean hit. But took a dirty hit. His ankle basically banged off the helmet of one of the Colorado defenders. Ends up splitting his ankle is what is being called right now. To me, that sounds like a broken ankle. A&M has come out today and said that, yes, he injured his ankle in the game against Colorado. He's going to miss some time. Thankfully for Texas A&M, they have New Mexico this week. which they should be able to work out any kinks with Zach Calzada. Because if not, then they're going to be in some real trouble, because after that they have SEC play starting up with Mississippi State and then Arkansas, who we're going to get to in a minute too. You got them, just over the hill. So Zach Calzada needs to get his form together, because that was a big reason why the Texas A&M Colorado game was what the Texas A&M Colorado game was. Both defenses played phenomenal. I'm not going to sit here and blame everything on Zach Calzada. The Colorado defense played really well. As soon as Haynes King went down, they were stacking 8 guys in the box. Hey, what's going on, Ray? They were stacking 8 guys in the box, and they were stopping the run every single time. And you got those 2 great running backs, Isaiah Spiller and Devin Achane. If they can't get any ground going, it's going to be a hard time for the Aggies. But with a quarterback that's, again, missing everybody by 10 yards, you can afford to do that. And that's exactly what Colorado did. Towards the end of the first half, Zach Calzada started getting things together, drove them down, kicked a field goal. Aggies were down 7-3 at halftime. Second half came out and looked like the same Zach Calzada that we saw, in the first half. Missing people by miles, not even close on a lot of those throws. And it was just a long day. I mean, the A&M punter should be the player of the game for them, because he's the one that saw more action than anybody else on the field. And I got away from Ray. So the game kept going on. It was 7-3 at halftime. It was 7-3 all the way through the rest of the game until the final few minutes. Zach Calzada starts getting everything together, starts looking good, looking like a quarterback who belongs here. Drives the Aggies all the way down the field, gets to the 2-yard, or I think they had it by the 5 or 6 yard line. He goes back to throw the ball, goes back to pass. Can't find anybody open. He takes off, runs towards the end zone, puts the ball out in front of him, gets, everyone thought it was a touchdown at the time. Turns out he fumbled it right at the 1-inch line. And so still at this point, Colorado had the lead 7-3. Colorado gets the ball back on offense. You expect them to run down the clock and, don't give the Aggies any time. The Aggies defense played phenomenal. If anybody wants to say out here that this defense can't carry the load without Haynes King, watch this game. They carried the load. They were hitting. They were playing great defensive football. They were already one of the best defenses in the country. This game, I think, I'm not going to say it solidified them as the best, but it definitely solidified them as one of the best. One of the very best. They played outstanding football. We got Andrew Poulis here. What's going on, Poulis? So, they get the ball back. About 2 minutes to go. Start driving down the field again. This time, you saw the best pass of the game from Calzada. A beautiful dime pass to Isaiah Spiller in the corner of the end zone. Aggies take the lead at that point, 10-3. The defense comes back out, does what it's been doing all game long. Colorado doesn't stand a chance. A&M ends up winning it. They escape by the skin of their teeth. Again, Zach Calzada has a week now to get ready for SEC play, because what they saw in Colorado is nothing compared to what they're going to see in the SEC, especially with Arkansas coming up. And again, we'll talk about Arkansas here in a minute. So Calzada needs to get right, because if he doesn't, then this is going to be a long season for the Aggies. They're expecting Haynes King to be back mid-October. I'm not sure that's going to happen. And when he comes back, you got to remember the kid's just a freshman. He's only played fully one game in one quarter, or not even one quarter. So you're going to need Zach Calzada to be on the top of his game from this point forward. If he's not, it's going to be a long season for the Aggies, because they're going to have to rely on the defense more than they ever anticipated. So that was that game. Then we fast forward to the next game. we'll go 2 games right now. Texas at Arkansas. Texas was the favorite. I don't remember what the spread was, but I even picked Texas to win. Arkansas, for the past several years, have been the worst team in the entire SEC. By the way, Texas and Oklahoma are on their way to the SEC, possibly as soon as next year. That's going to be my guess, that you'll see them there next year. I think the SEC will buy out their deals with the Big 12. That's neither here nor there for this matter, but at the same time, it's kind of a fun note to remember when it comes to all this. So, Texas and Hudson Card as their quarterback couldn't get anything going. Bijan Robinson was a non-factor until later in the game. Arkansas, who again was one of the worst teams in the SEC, have been one of the worst teams in the SEC. I think they're building up, and they're building up a pretty good program. I think they're doing it right. Sam Pittman, the head coach out there, is doing a great job of recruiting. He's doing a great job of building the culture, something Chad Morris never really did. I was a big Chad Morris supporter when he first got hired by the Hogs. Not by the time he got fired. So Sam Pittman has really done a great job of building this team up. And they showed what they're capable of against a team that was supposed to just completely annihilate them. One of their oldest rivals in the world, the Texas Longhorns. Texas did not stand a chance in this game. Arkansas was hitting hard. They were running the ball hard. They were throwing the ball with beautiful precision. Texas didn't stand a chance. Not one. It was a horrible showing for any Longhorn fan. I was talking to my boss Reggie earlier. He was basically crying about it. So was my coworker Jennifer, but that's neither here nor there because, I didn't see her face to face. Longhorn fans were completely humiliated by this. And granted, I don't blame them. They were supposed to beat this team. They were supposed to beat this SEC team and say, hey, look, we can compete with you guys. This is the team that finished last place last year. Again, they're a far better team this year than they were last year. But if Texas gets beat this bad by Arkansas, what are they going to do next year? Granted, Hudson Card will be a lot better. They've already decided to go ahead and make a switch at quarterback. Hudson Card is not starting their next game against Rice. That is a game that the Longhorns need to come out and just completely dominate. So they're not going with Hudson Card at this point. Hudson Card was supposed to be this this top recruit quarterback, and he was. He was very highly recruited. Again, he was a freshman. He did not look good at all. I'd say he looked better than C.J. Stroud, but that's not asking for a whole lot. So, Arkansas just completely dominated them. Then we go over to Miami, and there's going to be more stuff about Miami on the second half of this show. Yes, if you haven't paid any attention to the audio show that I've been doing for the past year, and you just remember the old video streaming interaction, yeah, I never used to have an intermission. Now I have an intermission, and it's mainly just to show off my buddy's music. So we'll be getting to the intermission here in just a little bit. But Miami against Appalachian State. This was a game that I think Miami needed to just dominate Appalachian State. Appalachian State is a group of 5 school. Group of 5 schools should not be able to compete with big-time Power 5 teams like Miami. Miami was one of the top 3 teams in the ACC coming into this year. They were expected to finish in the top 3. Them, North Carolina, and Clemson. For last week, all 3 of the teams lost. Miami just got destroyed by Alabama in week 1. So Miami needed this game to at least bolster their ratings and say, hey, we do belong in the top 25. After that shellacking that they got from Alabama, I sincerely doubt that they're going to make the playoffs. Even if they run the table and win the ACC. they're not getting in the playoffs after that ass whooping that they took from Bama. So, Miami needed this win, and they needed to win big. They got the win, but they struggled mightily through it. And I'm trying to pull up the score here. It was very close. I think it was a 2-point game. If all you guys can get out of my way there we go. Let's see. The score was in this game 25-23. Yeah, 2-point game. Miami's team last year, I think, looks better than Miami's team this year. And that's hard to pull off considering that you got De'Aaron King back for a second year. He decided to come back instead of going into the draft. Do I think he would have been drafted that high? He might not have even been drafted, but he might still be playing in the NFL right now. But he decided to come back to improve his draft stock. De'Aaron King has not been the De'Aaron King that we saw last year or with his previous years with Houston. Big part of that could be that knee injury that he suffered in the bowl last year. But he's not been the same. This defense has not been the same. This running game has not been the same. All right, so we still have several people on here. Good. So, all of this, and Miami is pretty much done. They can still go on and win the ACC. They have yet to start ACC play. But if they have any hopes of being in the playoffs, beating Appalachian State by 2 points just dash your chances of getting in the playoffs after having that big of an ass whooping by Alabama 2 weeks ago, or a week ago. So there's that one. We also had the Iowa and Iowa State game. Yeah, I meant to talk about that one too. That was one of the earlier games. Ashton Kutcher went out there on ESPN and, as he always does, picks Iowa to win. I picked Iowa to win. At the beginning of the week, before any of the game started, people would have told you that the only surprise you should expect is if Iowa beats Iowa State. I don't know why that was a surprise. Iowa's defense is consistently in the top 10 in the country every year. Iowa's defense is one of the pure best defenses in the country. They're almost SEC-style defense, if not completely SEC-style defense. Iowa might be able to compete in the SEC. Will they beat Bama? No. But they'd be able to compete. So why was it such a surprise for them to beat Iowa State? There was only 2 people on that panel on ESPN that chose for Iowa to win. And that was Ashton Kutcher, like I said, and Lee Corso. I had them picked. I saw what Iowa State did the week before. I saw what Iowa did the week before. Iowa's defense is way too damn good to be beaten by a Big 12 offense. Big 12 is nothing but offense. But if you can push them around, you can beat them. It doesn't matter what team you're talking about. It could be Oklahoma, Texas, Texas Tech, TCU. Doesn't matter. If you can push them around, you can beat them. And guess what? Iowa did that. Iowa did that with Iowa State. So there was another surprise. Not to me. I had them picked. If you bet money on what I said, then you just made some money. You can thank me later. And can I borrow $10? So that was a surprise. Maybe the biggest surprise of the day, though, happened in Tallahassee. Florida State, who barely lost to Notre Dame the week before. Lost by 3 in overtime to Notre Dame. Took on Jacksonville State. An old coworker of mine used to be the quarterback at Jacksonville State. I'm not going to get into that. That was years and years ago. His name is Mark Washington. Anyways, Jacksonville State is an FCS team. Again, there is no reason why a Power 5 team, especially one with the pedigree, if you will, of Florida State, should lose to an FCS team. It does happen. We all remember 2007 Michigan losing to Appalachian State. That was back when Appalachian State was an FCS team. But after coming that close to beating Notre Dame, that shouldn't have happened. Or they shouldn't have lost. They lost on a Hail Mary. You can find on Twitter, at least that's where I found it. And you know what? I might go ahead and link those here on YouTube and on Facebook. Because I can't link them here on Anchor. But I might link the calls. You can tell which call is which. The Jacksonville State guys are cheering with joy, while the Florida State guys are. The one thing I said was, don't let anybody get behind you, and that's exactly what they did. They lost to Jacksonville State. Jacksonville State. You should not lose to an FCS team if you are an FBS team with that kind of pedigree. It's happened before with Michigan, a couple other times as well, but that kind of pedigree, we're talking mainly Michigan. But this one was huge. Mike Norvell, you know, everyone gave him a break after last year and said, hey, that was his first year. Give him a chance. Give him some time. He'll get things right. It looked like he did, because against Notre Dame that first week, they played their butts off. But then this happens, and you got to think Norvell is now very much on the hot seat. We'll get into some hot seat talk here in a little bit too, probably in the second half of the show as well. So yeah, that happened. Then we go to Stanford and USC. First play of the game, the kickoff, the opening kickoff, was probably one of my favorite moments in college football history. USC's kicker got ejected from the game for targeting. To me, that just sounds like, hey, you know what? I want to do some headhunting too. So I'm thinking, man, even the kicker's getting involved now. Even he's getting pissed. He's getting targeting fouls called on him. USC was supposed to win this game. Stanford is a shell of what of their former selves. Stanford blew USC out of the water. We're going to get more into USC here in just a little bit, because some news just came out a couple hours ago. But USC is not the USC that they were back in the early 2000s. I don't think there's a team in the Pac-12 that's really all that good, other than maybe Oregon. And even Oregon I'm still iffy on, just because they're a Pac-12 team. They're not as bad as the Big 12, but still, Pac-12 is still not that good either. But USC have had ample amount of time to right that ship. They have a lot of money that goes into that school, and they still cannot right that ship. There is something wrong there in USC, something wrong in La La Land. Because the people of Los Angeles are starting to get pissed off, and I think what happened today showed that USC finally gets it. Guess what? Our fans are starting to get pissed off. If you look through that stadium, there was not that big of a crowd there. It wasn't from COVID, no. You know, I mean, there were stadiums full throughout the country. So COVID is not going to be an excuse for there to be a diminished crowd out there at USC. The reason there's a diminished crowd at USC is because the football team has sucked for years. And they're not used to sucking. And they shouldn't be. No team should get used to sucking. Once you get used to sucking, you're going to continue to suck over and over and over again. So USC got destroyed by Stanford. This was supposed to be a sleeper week. In other words, there might be that one surprise. Iowa might be able to pull it off against Iowa State. After that, nothing all that exciting was supposed to happen. But all these scores that I just gave you, and I'm probably missing one or two now, just because I'm just winging this tonight, because I didn't have time to do a script or put anything together. This was one of the most exciting weeks in college football that I can remember in a long time. Probably ever since 2007. 2007 was a very weird year for college football. This year is shaping up to be quite that as well. So, next time they tell you, this is a sleeper week, there's nothing big happening, you better keep watching, because this was, again, one of the most exciting weeks I've ever seen in college football. Teams that weren't supposed to stand a chance ended up blowing out the team that was supposed to blow them out. Texas went down. Texas isn't ranked anymore. They shouldn't be. After that performance, they shouldn't be. Miami is still holding on to a ranking by tooth and nail, because one more even mediocre showing from them, they need to be taken out of the top 25. I can't believe that they're still in there. Oregon jumped from number 11 all the way up to number 4, I think, 5, something like that. Texas A&M fell back a spot because they had a tough game against Colorado. Again, maybe Zach Calzada can right this ship there in A&M this week against New Mexico. We'll see. Alabama's still number 1. Georgia's still number 2, because both of them did exactly what they were supposed to do. And that's how you make it to the college football playoff, is doing what you're supposed to do. So those two teams made it to the are still 1 and 2. It would not surprise me if at the end of the year that's what you see, Alabama and Georgia again. And I know there's going to be a lot of people, why are there always SEC teams? And, SEC is the only conference that ever has 2 teams. It's because the fucking SEC is that good. That's why. So, and I'm not even sure anybody's still here. But we're going to go ahead and break with that. We're going to go to another song from my buddy Joe's band Last Time. Or if you're listening on the audio, back to the Psychoholic song Mardi Gras. We'll be back here in just a few minutes. Hold tight, and see you on the flip side. I love saying that. I don't know why I didn't say that earlier, but, I guess I'm starting to become one of those cool kids. So, see you on the flip side, guys. right, welcome back, everybody. I'm gonna have to do some editing here on the audio version because started recording that before I came back over here. So, welcome back, everybody. Hope you guys enjoyed the first half of the show. If not, then sorry, I'm winging it today. It really took me a few hours to do it, but again, guys, what is going on with that door? You can't live with some people. I swear to God. She's gonna kill me. Anyways, but welcome back to Fourth and a Mile, presented by Planet Adam. I am your host, the Pharaoh of Planet Adam, or God King, if you will. I am Adam Fernandez. Again, guys, that was my buddy Joe and his band last time. I don't even remember what song it was that I was playing there. I'm gonna have to go back and look at that. Or Joe's here, I think. So Joe, you can go ahead and tell us what song we were just listening to. I don't think it was Stupid Girl. I think Stupid Girl's the one I'm ending the show with. But it might be Stupid Girl. So anyways, yeah, so welcome on back. This is the first time in 2 years or so that I've done a live stream of the podcast. I want to start doing this more often. Next time it'll be more organized with a better script, but considering everything that happened this week in college football, I don't even think I really need a script, to be honest with you. This was just a crazy week. We just went over some of the highlights of the games. Now we're going to get into the real fun stuff that happened. But again, yeah, go, Joe, if you're still here, let everyone know where they can find you guys at, whether it be listening to you guys. I know you guys have a channel on Spotify. So-Called Hero, there you go. That's the one we were just listening to. That's what I thought it was, but I wasn't sure. Yeah, Joe, feel free to tell everyone where they can find you. Go ahead and write it in there. I'll also go ahead and make it known on the audio podcast as well, where they can find you at, where you guys are going to be playing anytime soon, all that fun stuff. Go ahead and let us know. Same thing with you, Charlie. If you and the Psychoholics are playing anywhere, feel free to let us know as well there too. So let's get on to the rest of the crazy shenanigans that happened this week in college football. And there we go. So we already talked about the Miami-Appalachian State game. It was a great game. Miami should have won by a lot more than what they did. But that wasn't the highlight of the game. The highlight of the game, it was possibly the oddest thing you'd ever see. It was on 9/11, on September 11th. There was a group of fans there that happened to have an American flag with them. And they just ended up being, okay, before we get back to the story, linktree.com, is that /? Yeah, that's / last time SA. Go over there, check out more of Last Time and my buddy Joe there. Me and Joe have known each other for 20-something years now. But good guy, good band. I've seen them live. Great band. So go over there, check them out. And anything else that he has going on, I'll go ahead and let you guys know about it as well, every time I do the show. So, yeah, so they had the American flag. Somehow, and nobody has been able to explain this to me, a cat gets to the awning of the stadium. Now, something tells me this cat probably had a little too much to drink because he slipped, tripped, and fell somehow. And it was holding on by a string, literally. And, let me just go ahead and show you guys the video here real fast. You're going to have to excuse me because it wouldn't let me move the video over, so it's going to be on one side of the screen. So, but I'll work on getting those kind of kinks fixed. But here you go. Here's the video. So there you go. Possibly one of the greatest sports stories in history. This group of guys with the American flag caught this cat who probably, I don't know, his girlfriend probably broke up with him, or maybe he just didn't feel like making those child support payments anymore. I don't know. I don't think we'll ever know what got to this poor cat. But he fell, and a group of them caught him in the American flag. And the best part of it was at the very end, one of the guys that caught him didn't know what to do, so he just holds him up like Simba, and you're sitting there like, ah, you know. It was amazing story right there, amazing video. That was probably one of the greatest videos I've ever seen, and you could hear the people. The game was actually going on. There was a play going on when that video was being shot. Everybody that you heard reacting there wasn't reacting to the game. They were reacting to this cat. I think this guy got put up on the Jumbotron. This cat is famous now. This cat is a celebrity in Miami. Everybody in Miami drives Lamborghinis. This cat now drives a Lamborghini because he's a celebrity. One of the greatest things I've ever seen. Such a great video. If I find out more about this cat, guys, I'll definitely let you guys know. So we're going to move on to the rest of the hijinks that happened. Southern Mississippi, University of Southern Miss played Grambling State University. The game was a total blowout. Southern Miss won. It was supposed to be a total blowout. I don't think anybody expected Grambling State to even be all that competitive in this game. But sometime during the game, a pregnant lady who was there rooting on her Southern Miss Eagles started giving birth in the stands. She made it down to one of the tunnels, tunnel number 3. That's where her water broke. All that stuff ended up happening. They couldn't get an ambulance in there. She was in that tunnel for an hour, going into labor, about ready to pop that kid out. Truth is that, yes, the kid was actually born at the hospital. He actually came out at the hospital. But tell me that is not one of the greatest stories that any kid could ever have. He's going to be able to tell all his friends that I was born watching a Southern Miss University football game. Tell me that's not the coolest story. And if this mother does not name, we'll say their last name is Smith, okay? If she does not name her son Brett Favre Smith, she was never a real big Southern Miss fan anyways, and you know what? This story doesn't matter anymore. That's where Brett Favre went to school. That's where he played college ball. That was Southern Miss University. So, this kid better be named Brett Favre Smith. And if he's not, then we need to boycott whatever the hell that mom does. Because that is unfair to that kid to have that story for his birth. Possibly the greatest story ever told. You know, Jesus' birth was a pretty damn good story too, but this kid's might be a little bit better. Sorry, I'm going to hell, I know, guys. So that was a great story. Now let's get into the not so great stories, because we're going back to the USC game where USC got trounced by Stanford. For several years now, Clay Helton has been on the hot seat. The head coach at USC has been on the hot seat. People have been calling for his termination for years. USC fans, people in the media have been saying, why hasn't this guy been fired yet? As of, maybe 6 hours ago, that stopped. Clay Helton has been fired. He wasn't fired on the tarmac. If you know anything about USC football, you know exactly what I'm talking about there. So he wasn't fired on the tarmac, but he was fired. Again, this goes back into what I was saying about Arkansas compared to any of these other schools. The culture that Clay Helton brought into that, I'm not going to say he brought it in, but he was a big part of it, and he expanded the culture that was over there. Was a culture that did not want, did not desire, did not have that passion to win. This is a program that's one of the most historic programs in the history of college football. Some of the best that ever played this game have gone through those halls. I hate to say O.J. Simpson, but that's the first one to come to mind. Reggie Bush, Marcus Allen, several guys. This is a great program, one of the best programs in all of college football history. And they have been mediocre ever since about 2005, since they lost that national title game to Texas. They've been mediocre. And when it comes to programs like that, when it comes to fan bases like that, you can't be mediocre and expect to hold on to your job too long. It's amazing that Clay Helton held on to his job as long as he did. But even he knew that the writing was on the wall. I'm sure of it. I'm sure every single day he went into his office, he thought to himself, I can't believe I haven't been fired yet. I don't know why he hadn't been fired. The fans have been calling for it for years. But finally it happened today. He replaced Steve Sarkisian, who replaced Lane Kiffin, who was the guy fired on the tarmac, who replaced Pete Carroll. Pete Carroll was the last one of them to have a winning record. Well, I can't say that. Yes, Helton did have a winning record, but it was a pretty subpar winning record. So the fans at USC, like Will Ferrell specifically comes to mind. Will Ferrell and George Lucas. They finally just got pissed off and decided, hey, we need to get this guy fired. Or this guy needs to be fired. And so they finally ended up firing him. There have been several names that have come up to replace him. One of the interesting ones to me is Mario Cristobal. If I'm Mario Cristobal, I'm staying right where I am because he's got a good thing going on in Oregon. If I'm Mario Cristobal, the only way I leave Oregon is if I get offered a job by Miami. Because Miami is where he played his college ball at. He used to coach at FIU, which is literally 5 minutes away from the University of Miami. Yes, he was the head coach back when they had that huge brawl. Oh, wait. Here comes the star of the program. Come here, Coco. Come here, baby. Come here. Come here. All right. Here's the star of the program, everybody. This is Coco. Say hi, Coco. Say hi, Coco. Stop looking around. Did you see you? You see you? There you are. She doesn't see anything. She's blind in one eye. So, anyways. So he was finally let go. Mario Cristobal. Again, I don't think he's going anywhere unless he gets a job offer by Miami, which very well might be coming at the end of this season if Manny Diaz doesn't turn things around because Miami has been playing like crap. But that's the only reason I see him ever leaving Oregon because he's got a good thing going on there. He's built up a hell of a program. They're winning. They beat Ohio State this week for the first time ever. The Duck finally beat Brutus. First time ever that's happened. So, yeah, so Mario Cristobal, I don't think he's going to go there. There's been some other interesting names that come up as well. I even saw someone say rehire Lane Kiffin. Lane Kiffin's not going anywhere. He likes the SEC too much. He's perfectly happy to be there. Especially after he's already got this reputation as a guy that leaves programs way too early, like he did with Tennessee to go to USC the first time. I don't think that USC wants to bring him back anyway. So we'll keep our eye on it, see who all they bring up. There's several different guys that I think could actually be in the running for that job and could make a huge difference. So we'll see how that goes. Thursday we'll be back, guys. We'll have my college picks, or my college football picks. Sorry. I'm not sure if I'm going to do it live or not. This was fun though. I enjoyed doing it live. So we might do a live. If we do, then again it'll be more scripted and it won't be a lot of in between words and such. So I hope you guys had a fun time. I hope you guys enjoyed this. We will see you guys next time. And as always, wait, let me get the outro ready to go. And as always, besos.
Never meant to hurt you. That's what she said.